Okay, I'm gonna do a real quick little tool video today, I think, maybe. Somebody posted on the off-grid, what do you call it, the off-grid Facebook net about tools. And it's cold in here, I should have wore a jacket. They were asking about Ryobi and what people thought of them. Well, of course, they got the usual, well, this tool's better than that tool, and blah, blah, blah. We really need to get stuff out of here because you can't walk through it. Okay. That's my tool collection. Most all of it is Ryobi. This saw, this is the Ryobi saw that we used. That's the original blade. We built this entire house with this saw. That cut all of the major wood, all the 2x4s, just about everything. This saw cut it. That one has the light duty 18-volt lithium on it. This is rechargeable. This will do a day's work before you have to charge it. I'm going to set these on the floor as I pull them out. That down there is the Ryobi cutoff saw, and that one has cut all my metal and some of the larger woodwork. And we couldn't have done it without it. I mean, all of the metal for the solar panel mounting, that one did all the work. And that's the original blade. I actually used, no, I did, that is the original blade on that one. Here is, I've got just junk everywhere. I gotta get this stuff out of here. This has been a lifesaver. That's the original blade. And yesterday, I was working on the truck. I was kind of building putting in a lift kit for the rear. I only raised it up an inch, but I put a lot of weight in the back end, and it sinks down, and everybody at night flashes me, so I raised it up 1 inch. Couldn't adjust the headlights low enough. But that cut through the bolts, the U-bolts on the spring shackles in seconds. I mean, it really did a good job. I mean, it just saved my life. I could not loosen the nuts. I had a 3-foot breaker bar and a 3-foot extension, and I could not break the nuts loose. And that cut through those U-bolts just like butter. Here's the drill. This drill has done some really major work, and it's hurt me a couple of times. I mean, if the bit gets stuck, big 1-inch, 2-inch holes, it doesn't want to stop. I mean, it's a powerful little drill. But that's a Ryobi drill, and it's drilled every single hole in this house. Set it over here. This is the only tool of the Ryobis that I have that I'm questioning, and this is a tire pump. We actually have 3 of these, but this one is growling. When we use it, it growls, makes some noise. It's I don't know how old it is. We've had it ever since we started this house, but it is making some noise when you run it. So it may not last very much longer, but it's really been the exception. We use that one on the motorcycles. You have to check your motorcycle tires every time you go out or you're in trouble. There's the jigsaw. And this one's cut metal. It's cut just everything. Anything you can think of, this one's cut it. I have a whole collection of blades. Actually, I have blades for all of this in case I just need to change them out. But this one here has cut quite a bit of stuff. It's done a little bit of scroll work. A lot of fine corner work. That's what I've been using that one for. I have this doodad, which is tangled up in wire. This, I've used this in areas where I've already had something up and didn't want to take it back down and needed to cut it. But this is pretty handy. I haven't found a ton of uses for it, but I know they're out there. I'm not used to this tool yet. But they're all Ryobi. Everything's Ryobi. Then I have that Ryobi sander over there, which is not battery. I've used that in a couple of areas. I use that when I'm making my sharp sticks. It comes in pretty handy. This is accessories for that one tool. And you get everything kind of organized up there. I do have a large bandsaw down there, or a table, whatever that is, skill saw. This is my charger for the Ryobi stuff. Plug it in. About 30-40 minutes, they're usually charged up. This is not a Ryobi, but it's a Cobalt from Lowe's. And it would not touch those bolts yesterday when I was trying to break loose on the truck, the U-bolts. What else have we got? Oh, I think we have a little vacuum cleaner back here somewhere. Sheldon, don't eat the wall. We didn't build this house for you to eat it. Come on. And up on the bed he goes. Okay. See if I can find the vacuum cleaner. And there's the little vacuum cleaner. Ryobi. And it's pretty handy. It does suck pretty good. And it comes apart real easy so you can clean it. Good for dog hair and tight spots. And we also have a Ryobi weed eater, but I think we took it back to Colorado for Sue to use. But that's the Ryobi stuff. I've had Rigid. Rigid is okay, except the cost. The cost on those is horrible. And somebody was posting about NiCad batteries. Yeah, you don't want NiCad batteries. You want lithium. They do still sell nickel-cadmium batteries for some of the Ryobi tools. Avoid nickel-cadmium. Just try and get the lithiums because they last forever. We have had, out of all of our batteries, Sue's got a bunch of them up at her house. She's got a bunch more tools. We've had one battery go bad. And that's pretty good out of all of them. Probably have 10 total. And at my house, I have an older set of the 12-volt Ryobi tools. And I've not had any problem at all with any of those. They're old. They are NiCad, by the way, and they still run. They still work. I use those at my house. There's one missing. Just realized. See if I can find it. Huh. Well, I don't know what we did with the hammer thing. Huh. That's a good question. Do you see it in the camera anywhere? I don't. Well, somewhere here there is a hammer drill. And that thing has been a lifesaver. For all the screws, it's put every single screw in this house in. It's been one busy tool. I mean, all these screws, all the 2x4s are screwed in, and they've all been put in with that one tool. And I don't expect it to die. That's a good tool if you can't get a screw out of something. Use that and the right size bit, and it'll usually pull them right out without stripping them. Just put some pressure on them and pull. Well, that's really odd. Don't see it anywhere. Have to ask Sue if she knows where it's at. I don't remember the last time I used it. Oh, maybe I do. Come on, Sheldon. Stop eating the wall. Go out here. I bet I left it outside. Stay. Stay. Back. Back, baby. Back. It's a really nice day out here today. Waiting for the speedometer truck for my, or speedometer cable for my truck to show up. I don't see it out here either. Well, I'll figure out what I did with that. I do remember taking some of this stuff off the wall, but that's all I remember. But anyhow, that's my tools. That's all the Ryobi tools. I do like others. I had a great Makita drill years ago. It was a fantastic drill, very, very powerful. But it grew legs. Oh, great, there goes baby. I'll have to go rescue him. Well, that's kind of got me bothered now. I wonder what I did with that. But, yeah, it's all up to you on what tools you buy, but Ryobi's an excellent tool, and it's cheap. And cheap is what matters. It's not expensive for the quality. Oh, golly. Well, I'm going to go tool searching, so I'll be back. Okay, I found it. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. But this tool has really been the workhorse. It has done everything in this house several times over. Baby's out there running around the truck. Where'd he go? There's Sheldon over there. Well, I better go rescue baby. I saw a shadow. He's right there. Now he's on the other side. Where'd he go? Come on, baby. He's just waiting for the door to open. He'll run around the truck until he gets bored, then he'll take off down the road. Come on, let me in, let me in. I don't want to be left here all by myself. What a dog. Oh, you're watching me, huh? Uh-huh. Okay. Back to work. Hi, everybody. I just watched a really good video that I think all off-gridders should take a look at. It was on YouTube, and it's called Why We Tested Nukes in Space. Back when I was a kid in the 60s, I remember the drills, you know, duck, cover your eyes, all that garbage. And we did that nearly every day. It was during the Kennedy administration and the Cuban crisis and all that stuff that it was really getting serious. After that was over, they slacked off a little bit. But I would really suggest watching this. It was a good video. It was called Why We Tested Nukes in Space. In the 60s in school, like I say, we had these things called weekly readers. And in those, there was all kinds of cool stories about World War II and Korea and all that kind of stuff. And they had nuke stories in there, and they talked about testing nukes in space. And a lot of the stuff that was in that video was the same stuff that was in the weekly readers. Back then, a lot of the stuff was secret, so they just said, yeah, we tested nukes in space, and this is what happened. It didn't hurt anything on the ground. Well, that was BS. Well, in reality, when they tested those nukes, especially in the Pacific, they wiped out a lot of the communications all the way over into California, where the communications would be down for hours and hours at a time. In Russia, when it was tested, it wiped out an entire power grid. It was actually tested on the power grid, on their own power grid, and they were talking about getting 6,000 amps worth of current off that power grid, which backfed into their power plants and smoked every one of them, burned all their power plants up, so they had to rebuild. But if they tested one, they don't, I mean tested, but they've talked about, the Russians have talked about, all we have to do is set off one 20 megaton bomb at 200 miles above the center of the United States, and it would wipe out the United States. And that's basically true. It would wipe out all of the power grid. The entire power grid for the United States would be history, especially across the center of the United States. And that's where a lot of the power plants are. They'd be done. They'd be just cooked. All of the transformers would explode because of the overload, and it would be pretty nasty. Now, you lose the power, it would also wipe out all the communications. The magnetic pulse would wipe out the communications, and the communication could stay down for weeks at a time. The communications would just stop working. Radio, everything. So that's why I say we need to protect ourselves against that. I do not know what kind of damage it could do to this house. That's why we have spare parts. Now, you want to keep spare parts. You want to keep spare charge controllers. You want to keep spare inverters, stuff like that. Our water heater is electric, and it's right here. I don't know if it would ruin it. I don't know if it would fry it. I really don't know, but it wouldn't hurt me to keep a spare controller and a spare controller for the main unit. But anyhow, we rely on cell phones. Everybody's got a cell phone. I got an iPhone here. I've got 2 laptops running all the time. One I play around with when I'm not doing anything else, and one just mining Bitcoin. But they're going to be gone. They'll be history. They will fry. But be ready for it. I mean, the cell phone, everybody relies on their cell phones. They say cell phone, cell phone, cell phone. It's the way to go. And these kiddies just don't believe it. They don't think that this could happen. Well, we just got out of the IMF treaty. And who knows what could go on now. If we're not regulated on testing nukes, then we're going to test nukes. Russia is going to test nukes. North Korea is going to test nukes. China is going to test nukes. But China and North Korea weren't even included in the IMF. So, power goes down, cell phone goes down, millennials won't be able to, they'll revert to wetting the bed because they don't have Google to tell them how not to. It's just going to be a bad thing. So be ready for it. You need to get this stuff together. You need to be ready for it because it's going to happen. It's not a matter of when, or not a matter of if. If it happens, it's not a matter of if it happens. It's a matter of when it happens. And it's not only nukes. It could be the sun. The sun's right up there underneath all those clouds, or up above all those clouds. But be ready. Have a generator. Have everything you need just stashed away somewhere. I don't really believe that it's going to affect small stuff. But the big infrastructure, that's what we have to really, really, really worry about, is the big infrastructure. The power grid, the phone lines, the cell phone, all that stuff's going to be gone. Power controls the water for the cities. They're not going to have water. They're not going to have cell phone. They're not going to have communications. They're not going to have anything. The cities will turn to total chaos. I don't know if you remember, I don't remember what year it was, 69, I think, maybe. There was a solar flare that wiped out power across New York and Canada. And the riots due to that power outage, it's going to be 1,000 times worse than that. Like I say, these kiddies, they won't be able to, the millennials, they will not be able to poop without Google. And that's just the start of the problems. But be ready for it. Keep that in the back of your mind. The whole thing is being prepared. If you're not prepared, you'll be just like those kiddies. So anyhow, I'm going to change the oil on my car and go for a drive today. I also have to put the ham radio stuff back in it. I changed out the speedometer cable yesterday and had to literally take the truck apart to do it. It's a Toyota Tacoma, and they really hide that speedometer cable pretty well. Anyhow, back to work. Talk to y'all later.